She's in high school, so she gets excited. Okay, I'm going to talk loud, and Shoshana's going to use the mic. So, can you go help with the pictures?
Yeah, those
they're not working. You may need to.
It's not a slideshow. It's in church.
It's working. Okay. I think we got 2 minutes.
Okay, we got 2. That's good. Let me just, and Shoshana will have some pictures. They're working on them, and we'll see how it goes. But Shoshana, first, why don't you just tell the folks, you went on a month-long trip, missions trip, and why don't you just tell them real quick, overview your schedule, where you went for training, and then where you went.
Okay, so I left on the 16th of June, and I went to Georgia, and we were there until Monday, and so I got there on a Wednesday, and we left really early. We left really early Monday morning, 2:30 in the morning for the airport. And then it took us about 2 days to get to Peru, to our final destination in Nauta. And we were there 3.5 weeks.
Okay. And just tell us, give us an idea about your accommodations. When was the last time you saw a flush toilet, those kind of things?
Mom, it's the holder down there.
You got to put on your...
It's right there. It's open on the bottom. Right there. Over, left.
Left?
Your other left. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, okay.
And then go all the way up to the top and start.
Okay, there you go. Okay. Gonna work? Well, why don't you tell them? You guys got the training?
Okay, so at training camp, our bathrooms were porta potties, and they didn't empty them ever. So by the end of the trip, you had this close to your butt.
They didn't even do that. Okay, well, so, I mean, it sounds like, okay.
And then our showers were basically a pressure wash hose. And there was sort of curtains, but if the water hits the curtains, then everybody can see everything.
Why don't you tell, what was a typical day in Peru? Maybe just tell them about this picture too. Yeah. Whichever.
So in Peru, we were in Nauta, and for like 2 weeks, and this was our like tree house, and we stayed upstairs. Next one. And we stayed underneath mosquito nets because there are a million mosquitoes there. No joke. And this was our shower in Peru. It was a bucket, and there's a little bucket inside, and you kind of just threw water on yourself. And we got showers every like 2 or 3 days, if you were lucky. So lots of deodorant. This was our church that we were at, and the house that we were staying in is like right next to it, our little tree house. And we had a pastor hosting us there, and our main reason for going was to help the Peruvians establish a vacation Bible school for kids.
So tell us about the first week you were in Peru. Who did the vacation Bible school?
The first week that we were there, we did the vacation Bible school as some Peruvians that were there. This is actually like a seminary for kids, for Peruvians. And so they like learned from us. And then we went out the second week and
work together?
Yeah, we worked like together. And
She told me the story, so I'm not going to get that.
And we split off into 2 groups, and one group went to one place, and we went to another place. And the kids don't get a lot of attention there, so they're really like hang on you, so you're basically a jungle gym for them.
Now, you told me certain days you would do what's called ATLs. What is an ATL and what did you do?
ATL is Ask to the Lord, and what we do is we would all meet together and talk about stuff, and then we'd all go out and pray separately and just see if God was trying to tell us something, and then if God was telling us something, then we'd go do that.
So certain times in your teams you would think you were supposed to meet certain people or tell us,
Yeah.
Think of a story, one of those? Any story you want. It's your Okay, we'll skip that one. If you can think of that one. Tell us about the boat.
This was the boat that we were on. The third week that we were there, we went in the jungle, and we actually stayed on this boat one night in hammocks. There's our hammocks. They were very, very, very close together, so you lived there, and if you swing back and forth, you would hit the person next to you. This was, after we got off that boat, we got on this boat, and we were on this boat for like 4 hours, and there was no bathroom, and you couldn't stand up, and you couldn't move, basically. This was what our accommodations were in the jungle. We stayed in like schoolhouses, and we actually had better bathrooms in the jungle than we did back in Mountain sometimes. Here, we had the river to bathe in.
How many people were on your team?
And we would sometimes wash the kids' hair because they thought that that was really cool. That is the squatty. It was the bathroom for 3 days. It smelled really bad. We rode on this boat at about 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's pitch black, and it's raining, and we all had like our little rain ponchos on, and it was the scariest thing I've ever experienced.
Okay. That's actually just people who want to know what that picture is.
Okay, that's a catfish, and we actually ate that one day. It's really big. Catfish is really good too.
Tell them about the interaction between the 10 people on your team and some of the Peruvians that you hung out with.
Well, we had 10 people on our team, as we said. We were staying at a campamento, which in Spanish I think translates to camp or something like that, and it's a seminary for boys. And so we were staying there with a couple of boys, and it was really cool because one day we were just sitting around, and it usually rained every single day, but it didn't rain at all that day, like for like 2 or 3 days. And so we're sitting there and we're like, oh, we really want it to rain. It's hot. Like it cools off when it rains. All the mosquitoes come, but it's less hot. So then like the clouds roll in and we finish lunch and we're like, yes, it's gonna rain. And so then it just like starts downpouring. Like it doesn't even just like start to sprinkle, it just and so a couple of people were like, most of us were in the church, and so like we all ran out and there was like a soccer field in front of the church. And their soccer fields are dirt, so it was mud. And so we played in the rain with the Peruvians, and we played soccer with them. But it was really cool because it wasn't Americans and Peruvians, it was God's people working together. And there wasn't really anything different between us, we felt. And we also had a little Spanglish going on with them. We would say like, gracias, brothers.
Okay, cool. Now tell us, you guys would sometimes when you did the vacation Bible schools, you'd go through the villages and invite people. What was it like being? And how many blonde people were there on your team?
I was the only one.
So everybody else had dark hair and darker skin?
Well, we had a Canadian, but other than that, I was the whitest person there, and one of the Peruvians that we hung out with, he called me Super Gringa.
So as you walked through and invited kids, what was the effect of being an American?
Well, just walking through the streets, you would have like all these kids just come up to you and just start following you for no reason. Like you didn't even have to tell them to come here. You didn't even have to tell them like why you were wandering around or why you were even there. They just follow you, and we had to like kick them out of the church a few times because the pastor didn't want them like coming when VBS wasn't designated, because otherwise they would be there 24/7.
Is there anything else you want to say to these people besides? Well, I know a lot of them supported you, and Mountain Bible supported you.
Well, thank you for supporting me, and thank you for coming to listen today.